in the kitchen, and we have ourselves an amazing set of recipes today. One of the most popular, I guess you could say, fitness-based recipes of all time is protein fluff. If you haven't tried it out, well, you're in luck, because today we're going to be doing 3 different versions of it. One with fruit, one with 0 sugar, and one for those of you who don't have access to protein powder. So let's get started on the original and classic protein fluff recipe first. In this recipe, we're going to be using casein protein, frozen blueberries, and almond milk. Go ahead and begin by taking 1 cup of frozen fruit. It's very important that they're frozen. This is really going to help with the fluff. We're using blueberries, but you can use blackberries, strawberries, raspberries, you name it. Next, 1 scoop of your protein powder. We're using casein, but you can feel free to use whey as well. We recommend vanilla flavor or something similar. Next, we're going to go ahead and take a splash of unsweetened almond milk. Now, a splash varies. With casein, you're going to need a little bit more than you would with whey. We're using about 1/4 cup. But what you're going to want to do now is just mash everything together manually. This is really going to help when you begin mixing it so everything doesn't fly everywhere. If, as you begin mixing it, you notice it's a little bit thick, maybe too thick, that's your cue to add a little bit more of the almond or normal milk. Just add a little tiny bit at a time, and when it really starts fluffing, you know it's going to work well. You're going to mix for quite some time. I'd recommend 3 to 4 minutes. The more you mix, really, the fluffier it gets, which is awesome. All right, there we go, version number 1. That's the classic, and I gotta tell you, it is absolutely amazing. Love this snack, and even though it uses 1 cup of fruits, it's really not that high in sugar. But what about those of you who maybe wanna try the 0 sugar option? Well, we've got you covered. Let's go ahead and start on that one right now. You're gonna need 3 eggs and 1 scoop of whey protein with some ice. Go ahead and begin by separating your egg whites from your egg yolks. It helps if your eggs are room temperature because it's just going to make them mix a little bit easier, get them a little bit fluffier. They don't have to be, but it's a nice little tip there. Go ahead and whip the egg whites by themselves. Whip, whip, whip. It's going to take 3 to 4 minutes. You're really going to notice when they do because they're going to get super, super fluffy. The more you whip, the fluffier they get. Next, go ahead and add your 1 scoop of protein into the mix. Go ahead and mix that up for a bit. You're going to notice it mixes, but now it's not quite as fluffy as it was before. Well, we're about to change that because go ahead and take your shaved ice. And if you don't have shaved ice, go ahead and put your ice cubes in a blender or a food processor, mix those up, and put the shaved ice into the other 2 ingredients and begin mixing once again. And Viola, there we go, it's fluffy again. And even though this one is a 0 sugar option, it's still very, very tasty and surprisingly filling as well. Okay, let's move on to the last variation. So let's say you don't have protein powder. All you have access is to some frozen fruits and some eggs. What do? Well, you can still make protein fluff, thankfully. So what you're gonna wanna do, separate the eggs just like you did before, whip them up until they're nice and fluffy, and now with the 1 cup of fruit, you can use strawberries, blueberries, blackberries. With this one, try to choose a fruit that's a little bit sweeter. It's really gonna help with the end result. We're still using blueberries, which are sweet, but you know, if you grab something like strawberry, it's even gonna be a little bit more sweeter. Of course, it's up to you. I enjoy blueberries myself. So go ahead and put those fruits in a separate bowl, mash them up, Buff Dude style. Oh yeah, as you can see, I'm using a muddler, just making sure those things are nice and mashed. Then I'm gonna go ahead and put them into the eggs, begin whipping them up until they're nice and fluffy. So there you go, 3 variations of protein fluff. It's one of our favorite recipes of all time, and I think you'll agree. And hopefully with these 3 different variations, we got you covered no matter what situation you're in. So, hope you enjoy it. And until next time, eat the fluff and stay buff. Yeah.